Hi, my name's Melissa Blackman, and I'm proud to be married to Captain Paul Blackman. I'm here today to share with you the story of Paul Blackman, the loving father, caring husband, and the story of the man behind the badge. Let me tell you a little bit more about the life of Paul Blackman. He was born and raised in St. Augustine, Florida, grew up in a very loving home with hardworking parents who instilled in him a lifelong work ethic, his character values, and a sense of being humble. Many of the things that Paul enjoys doing today came from a very young age as a child. Growing up in St. Augustine, he spent many days on the river fishing, wading the river, and shrimping. He also spent a lot of time at the beach surfing, and of course baseball was always at the heart of what he was doing. I want to introduce you to a man by the name of Paul Gillespie. Paul Gillespie is Paul's grandfather. He was the catcher for the 1945 Cubs. Unfortunately, Paul never had the opportunity to meet his grandfather. He passed away at a young age from heart disease a few months before Paul was born. However, that love of baseball has been in Paul ever since his birth, and he's been able to continue through our son, Gehrig. We were Cub fans before it was cool to be a Cub fan. Coach Clay Gooch, former coach of South Florida Community College for many years, is originally from the St. Augustine area. So what really are the chances that he would recruit a young man from St. Augustine, Florida to come play ball right here in Highlands County several years later? We believe it was destiny that we were to be together. I just knew that he had something special about him, and I was hoping that one day I'd get the opportunity to meet him. Sure enough, a little bit later that November, we had our first date. Paul and I decided to unite our love together in marriage at a very young age. We actually got married before either one of us had completed our college degree. As Paul was juggling all those responsibilities of playing baseball, going to the academy, and working full-time, he created and established an amazing work ethic. He had always had in his heart to be a law enforcement officer, and it was a priority to him. Shortly after graduating from the police academy, he was given the opportunity to serve as a deputy sheriff at the Highlands County Sheriff's Department. He was blessed to be given the opportunity to be a canine handler, and came into our lives the amazing Jake. Jake is a bloodhound, and we spent many years loving Jake as part of our family. So our family of two was now a family of three. We're still on shift work, and he's still loving his commitment to his community and that law enforcement job. Shortly after Jake came into our lives, we also had a blessing that came into our lives, and that was our son Gehrig. And what else would we name him besides a legacy to an outstanding baseball player? From an early age, Paul was coaching Gehrig. He had him on that boat to instill that love of fishing in him. His first boat ride happened at about 2 years old, right there on Lake June and Lake Placid. He loved the water, and so does Gehrig to this day. He had him in the woods with him, whether they were turkey hunting or just exploring the outdoors. Paul is a very loving father. Paul's never missed an opportunity to be there with his son. So sometimes shift work meant that maybe he wasn't there Christmas morning, or sometimes shift work meant that he had to come separately to the awards program, but Paul never missed an event for Gehrig. One of the ways that was always been very important to Paul to be an example for his son is his upper education. So I told you that Paul and I both got married before either one of us had completed a degree. So as a young family, both of us went back to school. We both earned college degrees at a bachelor's level, and we've both gone on to earn master's level. Paul is extremely dedicated to his profession, and an example of that would be his commitment to being there and being on the job on a daily basis. The last time that Paul took a personal sick leave was actually the week that he took off, the day I delivered our son, Gehrig. Gehrig turned 18 last March, so in 18 years, Paul hasn't taken a single sick leave. Paul is a humble man, yet he is a strong man of faith, and he firmly believes in letting his actions be those that show and illustrate that he is a man of faith and that he has a close personal relationship with God. We are current members of Grace Bible Church. Faith is a very important part of our family. It's important to us to raise our son in a godly-based home and to model for him the expectations of a relationship with Christ. When we made the decision to run for sheriff as a family, I knew that one of the things that was going to be difficult for Paul was to tell you about him. So I hope that I've had the opportunity today to share the backstory of Paul as the loving father, a husband, and the man behind the badge. He is committed to you, and he is committed to this community, which is very evident through over the 20 years of commitment that he's given to Highlands County. Paul and I are asking for your vote to elect Paul as sheriff of Highlands County.